Welcome to Business Resilience Decoded. I am your host, Vanessa Mathews, the founder and Chief Resilience Officer of Asfalis Advisors. Today, I'm so excited. We're going to be meeting with one of the team members from the Disaster Recovery Journal, Lesley Vinyard. She's the Director of Events for DRJ. And I had a chance to work with Lesley over the past few weeks for the previous conference we had in September of 2020. So Lesley, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
You're not used to being on this side of it, are you?
Not at all. Completely outside my comfort zone.
Well, welcome to the party. So today we're going to be talking about what it's like to plan a virtual conference, and we figured that it would be a good opportunity to ask the team at DRJ, since you guys just finished doing that. So before we get started, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into the business of event planning?
Sure. I think like most planners, I kind of fell into this. I was an executive assistant with a rental company here in St. Louis when I was told that I needed to help plan a small meeting. And that small meeting was 1,500 people. Well, because I'm a bit OCD with planning and organization, I have a list for everything, and those lists have lists. I turned out to be a natural. So over the course of the next 25 years, that 1,500 person meeting grew to 7,500, and I could produce those without batting an eye. In that industry now, 28 years as a meeting planner. The opportunity to hop over here to DRJ presented to me late last fall, and I just seized it. It was a chance, again, after so much time, to learn not only a new industry, but to expand my planning skills. I've never dealt with a conference that had a trade show component or the call for speaker side. So it was fun to be able to turn around and learn something new. And talk about learning something new, I've also now added virtual planning to my skill set thanks to COVID.
Well, what about emergency response and crisis management and disaster recovery?
I think it's safe to say that I've proven that we're resilient here at DRJ. Back in the springtime when COVID was just really coming on the forefront, we were in the heart of planning that spring conference and literally canceled within that last 5-day window. And it was heartbreaking to make that decision, but it was the right call. So I think over the course of that lessons learned in the spring and then conversations here in the summer, we quickly learned that, as you just said, we have to be resilient, we have to adapt, and we have to continue. And that's exactly what we did when we pivoted to that first virtual conference a couple weeks ago.
Absolutely. So you actually hit the nail right on the head. It leads me to my second question. DRJ has had its first virtual conference this past few weeks. Tell our listeners how it went.
It was incredible. We had 1,000 professionals on our virtual platform, and we're just thrilled with the outcome. Over 10,000 public conversations were had, 5,000 private messages were shared among not only our vendors, but our attendees, our sponsors. I think it's an indication that folks are missing the face-to-face experience and they want to engage. And the best way to do that right now is through that virtual platform. So there was a lot of sharing of information, a lot of support between the experts and the attendees. Again, incredible networking opportunities. And we saw that both during the event and now afterwards. The platform is still available to those who are registered to participate. They can go out and continue to watch sessions, earn credits, CEUs, and people are taking advantage of that. So we're just thrilled. I think, from behind the scenes, from a staff perspective, couldn't have been more happy with the performance of the team and just the success overall. But make no mistake, we also took a lot of notes and learned a lot of lessons along the way. And we know that there's areas for improvement. That's what being resilient is all about, though. You take that information, it's constructive criticism, and we're going to apply it to good use, and we're going to make this next conference even better.
I think the engagement and the interaction that was built into it really added to the experience, because now you can kind of get away with half-stepping virtual experiences and virtual trainings. But the way that you guys created those opportunities for engagement was great. I mean, we did one of the town halls, myself and Michelle and Jon, and it was very active.
And
The chat was
those
amazing.
discussion forums. I think those discussion forums became more popular than we could have anticipated. There was a lot of conversations that went back and forth. I think, again, a lot of connectivity. Folks were able to gain some new connections, to get some new resources available. And so that was really, I think, a pleasant surprise for us. We did not expect the traffic that we saw on those discussion forums. So that's definitely something that we're going to repeat.
Yeah. Well, speaking of traffic, is the next conference going to be virtual or in person at Disney World?
Well, that would be the million-dollar question, wouldn't it? I would love to be able to sit here and say to you, absolutely, yes, we are heading to Orlando. We're going back to Disney, but it would just be irresponsible of me to state that right now. You know, we have open dialogue with the hotel, but we do also, we're monitoring the pandemic and we're following along with those state and national laws. We have to do the right thing. And the right thing, unfortunately, is we just don't know. We're going to plan as if we're going. So we are planning an in-person event. We're also planning that virtual event just in case we do find ourselves having to transition. But at the end of the day, I don't think this answer is going to come to us until well after the beginning of next year. That's the hard part, is it's going to be last minute, but it's the cards we're dealt with right now. And so we'll get through it.
Yeah. You know, I think people are starting to adapt to being in small spaces or in large groups, or our comfort levels with COVID has definitely changed. So it'll be interesting to see towards the end of this year, early next year, what that looks like.
And I'm hearing a little bit of both. Several of the attendees that I've communicated with have said, you know, it was a wonderful conference, you know, really able to pivot and produce this virtual conference, but I missed that interaction. I missed the face-to-face and I'm ready to travel. And then respectfully, you have the others who, you know, just simply aren't there yet. So, you know, that's a tough call for us. You know, you may personally be ready to travel, but your company may still have that travel policy that says not yet. So, you know, again, we're just going to continue to monitor the situation, keep in touch with the hotel pretty much every other week at this point, and we'll make that educated decision once we can get there.
So I can imagine the conference just ended. We're about to go into the fall where it gets really cold, my worst time of the year. I just don't like when it's cold.
It's rainy and in the 40s here today, so I know exactly what you mean.
Oh, gosh. And then we're going to get out of there, and then next thing you know, it'll be March. So I imagine you guys are in the process of looking for speakers for DRJ Spring 2021. What are you looking for?
I am looking for practitioners that have something to say, something to share. We want education out of this conference. So we are looking for sessions that contain that educational component around business continuity, disaster recovery, or any related theme. And it could be across any business line. I think the reality is COVID is going to continue to demand attention and will always be kind of that front runner, at least for now. I think folks that are venturing back from the work from home environment to the office are looking for those guidelines of how they're going to be protected when they make that decision and start moving forward. I think businesses out there, they're worried about the civil unrest, cybersecurity. We've seen several breaches in the last couple of weeks. Security, you know, we still have these natural disasters going on, the forest fires out in California, and, you know, look at what's going on in Colorado right now. Our economy, you know, I think, you know, everything as a whole. So no topic is off the table. We're looking for anything and everything business continuity, disaster recovery related that's going to provide that education to our attendee base.
Lesley, I don't know what you think about this, but someone a while back told me if you're ever looking to see what to talk about for the next conference, look at the previous year and all of the titles that everyone came up with. And that might be able to give you a guide or an indicator to see, you know, what people may be looking for next.
We have a pretty robust archive out on our website at drj.com. So I would encourage folks to get out there and take a look. You can see the call for paper that is currently live. So if you're interested as a speaker, or maybe you know somebody who might be a good speaker, we would love to have them go out and submit that synopsis for our consideration. But again, the archives are out there, and so folks can go out and take a look at topics that have been shared in the past, and that may also generate some registrations for folks who maybe need to get some more of those education units, or, you know, just want to update their own knowledge base. We'd love to have you.
Well, Lesley, where can our listeners reach you?
So you can reach me at a couple of different ways. You can reach me at drj.com, or you can send me an email to my personal address, which is my name. So it's Lesley @drj.com. I'd love to hear from you.
Well, there you have it. Thanks for tuning in to Business Resilience Decoded with the Disaster Recovery Journal and Asfalis Advisors. Subscribe, share, download, and look out for future episodes.